The power of transformation is in our love. We've got each other, and God's got us. Power of transformation is in our love. We've got each other, and God's got us.
Super fantastic.
How did you come up with the with that term, super fantastic?
So I was doing a business. It was a network marketing business, and it had a guy. His name was Darnell Self. This was like 20 years ago, and he had this word that he would always say, like, "Man, I'm super fantastic." So super fantastic is a superlative word. So superlative means it gives extra energy, excitement, enthusiasm. So how are you doing? If I ask, how are you doing?
Super fantastic.
If I say, I'm just making it,
Yeah.
then your mind, your body is the unconscious mind. So if you say, how's it going? I say, I'm barely making it. Then my body will start doing things that prepare to barely make it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The body is the unconscious mind. Whatever you tell the mind, your body goes out and do.
You know, I use that word, your word.
Yeah.
All the time. So this is where it comes from.
I'm not the originator, but what
I
it
use
is
it.
it's superlative. It's just superlative words. So if a person uses a superlative word, then we able to relate better.
Yeah,
If I say I'm
energy.
yeah, man, but I can't.
I get away from people like that.
Yeah,
Negative energy, I walk away.
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
have
take-
much time.
I'm like,
Yeah,
look, man, I gotta go. I don't want to hear all that.
right.
I don't need no negative.
So words are literally spells.
They're
So,
gifts.
yeah.
Like the words we speak, they're
It can be
gifts.
used as
They can be
gifts.
used as gifts, but
Yeah, like speaking, we super millionaires sitting here.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Millionaires,
Yeah, I love it.
skillionaires, soon
Yeah.
to be chillionaires.
Man.
That means we got so many millions we don't do anything but chill.
Yes. I love it. We gotta speak it. We manifest our husband, so let's
Yeah, we can
these
manifest
dollars.
everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yep.
So
Not only can we, us who understand, like we're obligated, and like Ramon's message and his mission is like an obligation. Like for me, you know, like I can't sleep without, like I can't, like it's like I couldn't sleep without doing something where I try to use my voice or something that I said to
Right.
try to
Uh-huh.
be a blessing to somebody else, because you know every day we are here, it really is a blessing. So now with my wife, as far as the relationship and being married, like I so don't have no time to be in arguments and stuff, because
Right.
my business flows slower. The kids are like they not as alert and attentive, and
You
if
ain't
they
gonna get nothing done, huh?
That is so,
Yeah, it
so
shifts the momentum.
Yeah.
and
it
the
does
energy.
shift. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's pause it for a second, guys, because me and Ramon just had a conversation about that. Like, for me, I can't be in disarray. Like, I have to, in order for me to operate really well, things around me have to be flowing good. Like, I have to be in a happy space, which is a good and a bad thing in a sense. When you do come across problems, you know, you can't shut down. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You got to fight and push through it. And I found, because we had you know, some issues where I got into this depressing kind of stage where I didn't really want to do the thing that I was set out to do for that week. You know, and I realized that now it didn't push us back. So now I realize that I have to even work through it, which can help people out there, because even when you're going through it, like you just mentioned it, like I'm not the only person that's going
What
through
I
that.
told you.
So that
What I
was
hear
beautiful
say.
that you spoke on that, because what you told me, you said that I have to push through.
Yeah, I compared it to my life, right? All the hell that I've been through. When I went through a fire,
you
I went
did.
through a
And
tornado, I went
you
through all
did.
kinds of stuff, and
You
still
did.
got up on every morning. Man, this is truly the
He
Lord
did,
has made.
and-
I might
and-
well
and
rejoice and be glad in it. I'm still pushing through,
He's still
right?
pushing through.
Because even though I'm in the storm, somebody else looking to me for help.
They looking at him.
You understand?
The crazy part about it, with him doing that, he don't know how he inspired me, like just being around him and watching him, because I'm like, look, we mad at each other. Well, he not mad at me, but I'm mad at you. Like, you know, and I
You mad
know you,
over
like, you know
yourself.
what I'm saying? It's not, don't it in a sense like that. Don't do that, baby. It's not that I'm mad by myself, but if we upset or we have an issue or a problem, you know what I'm saying? If I'm upset or bothered, it's gonna cause some kind of issues for you, right?
The house.
So the whole house is in disarray. But if what I watch him do is still operate and function, like even though I know he's feeling some kind of way, you know, I know he's upset, you know. So, but he's still operating and he's functioning, and I'm like, God, thank you, because I need to do this. And what I've learned is I can operate, like I pick up off of people's, you know, if I'm around somebody, that's how I know
It's a matter of time.
Man, it's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
Because I pick up on good habits. I pick up on people good habits. Some people pick up on bad habits, but I pick up on good habits, and that's a good habit.
Yes.
So you spoke on it, and then that's just confirmation for me with that. So that was good.
I can say one. So me and Cheryl, we came up with this for our business. We came up with this like our own system, and it's called a super system. So the S in the super system is state your objective. So we started using it. The initial reason was for business. Like, you know how you take so many courses and take so many classes, and you like, well, I got about 10,000.
Information overload.
I got information overload. Now I need to create my own process, because if I try to do it like the 68 other people courses and stuff that I got, I'm still stuck. So I need to create my own philosophy of my own system. So we created this super system. And so even if we're arguing or disagreeing, the S in the super system says state your objective. So if we're arguing and disagreeing about whatever it is, most of the time we're looking and we're pointing the finger. So if we're arguing and you're pointing the finger, state your objective. So I don't remember, like most of the time I can't remember our arguments, because I be like diffusing them instantly, like intentionally, because it slows everything down. So basically I say, if this argument look like we might get divorced, right? So if I say, well, it don't look like it might be divorce worthy. Right. So I come with my objective, but if whatever your objective is, one thing that you can never do is you cannot make somebody else act in any certain kind of way. You could physically move them, but I can't make her decide to act how I want her to act. Because most of the time, that's what the argument is. She just do this. Man, I told her, man, you see how many times I posted for my thing? Look, I told you to post. Like, whatever it might be.
Right.
But I can't physically make her do it. But when I have an objective, if my objective is to reach X amount of number of people per week, well then I can still do that. I'm still responsible for that. So I don't try to put what my desire or my goal is to make her, because I can't force her to do anything. So now God blessed me with a wife. So I'm like, well, I have to see how to be a better leader to see how to better get her to do whatever the things I want. Or I have to ask, what could I do for you that'll get you to do this for me? Because instead of saying, man, I'm telling you, man, it's like, look, what could I do for you so that if you do this, if I do this for you, you'll help me do this.
So you asked her that? So he asked you that, Cheryl? Well, basically, I mean, do he?
No. We had an argument earlier. I still can't remember what the argument was about, but I do remember.
I feel like you, Ramon, he argued by himself.
Yeah,
I ain't had nothing to do with it.
but I hurried up. I'm saying within a minute or so, I was like, hey, look, this is not going to work good for my date to argue like this. So I feel like this. And all I'm saying is this. And I'm just a person. I think how I think. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you wrong. Right. But this how I think. You could understand how I feel. And she was like, well, yeah, I can understand. Most of the time, we just want somebody to say, well, you know what? I understand. Right. Because we're only us. We're only our one person. So I can't think how you think. Like I be want to say, bro, if you could just think like me, it'll be easy. Right. Nobody else can think like you. So then God blessed us, so then I have to see how to move with harmony with everything that I do.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's how y'all keep things going for y'all business.
For our business, for our personal life. Because we together, we actually physically together, like all the time. Like if you call me, Cheryl is like, our friends become one. So I was saying we are one, because if you like, I really need to talk to you. You really can't just talk to me. Like,
Cheryl's right
unless
there,
something back like it, I'll be like, and not in a mean way,
You
right?
definitely say, I just need you. Yeah, and just get you. Right.
they really don't get that out. Who was the
But
last
see-
person that was like, I don't know the last time I had a phone call
think
that I talked to
it's
somebody
my
where that
advice.
Cheryl wasn't in my phone call.
So let me ask this question. Do that go to set, like, do you, how old, I know your outside child is how old?
He's 17, he'll be 18 next
Okay.
week.
So y'all been together long enough to ask this question. So is it a time where you had to speak with the child's mother and Cheryl
We
wasn't?
together. We won that. Man, I'm telling you, bro.
We
you know,
evolved to that.
Evolved to
Yeah.
that now, but now we call.
I
She
love
might
Cheryl.
call
I
her.
love
They
her.
might talk to each other.
Mhm.
But if I ever talk to my ex-wife now, Cheryl, 9 times out of 10, we there together. 9 times out of 10, laughing and clowning together. Like, boy, he
Yeah.
did that. Like, it's
But
real.
then it was a time though where it was real difficult and hard for her.
Right.
Yeah, and I can understand. And I really never had to deal with that on my end with Rashid having
Right.
to deal with,
A
another.
baby father.
Yeah.
And stuff, right.
Yeah, so and I try to be very considerate because all my friends for the most part they baby mamas with
Right.
baby fathers. So from their standpoint, like I understand what they're going through.
Right.
Like and it's not fun for the kid and for me as an
Right.
educator,
Right.
that was the most important thing for the kid to be healthy and grow up
Right,
healthy.
that's right.
Yeah.
So you can say that you guys are very transparent with each
Oh,
other.
absolutely.
Yeah, like,
absolutely. And we put
We
our pride to the side
besties
for-
almost with
Yeah.
my ex-wife. Like, we could be like, man, I'm telling you, Beth, man, look, check this out. Look what Reezy did or something like that. If I said, man, look what Reezy did, she'd be like, I'm watching him. I'm like, and or
Yeah.
Cheryl could do that on her own without
Well,
me.
like we know
Right,
he moved
exactly.
out so he could be with that girl again.
Right,
So me
right,
and the
right,
mom
right.
could be in cahoots with the fact that that's why he moved out. Why?
Right.
Yeah, that's why
Uh-huh.
because
Which that can come over time. I believe that mature adults can make that happen at any given time, though. But that's good.
Yeah, so I can't think of many times that if Cheryl just not there. If she's there, we have a desk and the desk next to each other. Most of the time, if we working, we at the
double
desk. It's a double desk. So if you call, Cheryl can hear your conversation anyway. So if you call, man, what's that? If I say what's that?
I know when I call, you see me right now.
Yeah, be in hustling.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So people just be like, she there or Cheryl there? Like, man, just
Right.
like we just
Yeah, I'm
won.
here. Hey.
You might as well
Right.
just receive us as one, because I'm probably not about to just.
But that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah,
thing.
that's
You
really
know what I'm
good.
saying? Because especially as men, especially good men, happily married men become a target out here. Because you have a lot of these Jezebels out here, and every minute of the hour they'll try anything possible. And look, when you're a single man, they don't even care.
Yeah.
But when you marry, it's like they try to get you from all. And like my wife know, like me, I talk to a lot of women because that's like a lot of them. They call for information or whatever it is. I'd like to get a real. Nah, he lying or something like that. And over the years, I've grown. I ain't the man I used to be. 20 years ago, whatever it is, it was different. But now I have to really, I gotta really be mindful, because the man that I am in the spotlight, and the worst thing that can happen is I become a false prophet. You understand?
Yeah.
Right.
Faking it. Oh,
Right.
he a fake, a fraud and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I gotta be really careful.
Real
You know what I'm
mindful
saying?
about the things, how you move. And I have to say this because this is important too. Because for me, remember I asked you about a hiccup,
Mhm.
before y'all got married. So we had a hiccup before we got married. And, to be honest with you, I was like, I don't know if I really should be doing this, right?
Don't lie.
I don't know if I really should be, doing this. So I prayed on it, and I said I'm gonna need some type of confirmation to know if I'm doing the right thing. And I went to church, and God gave me a confirmation.
Like an obvious sign.
Like
that
it
you
was
couldn't
so
deny.
obvious, and it was like I heard Him clear as day, and it was like, and I can speak this because it was like if God told me at that moment that I'm gonna use you to help him, and in turn you're gonna be helped. Like basically saying like I'm gonna use you to make him a better man, and in terms you're gonna become a better woman,
Huh.
right?
Yeah.
And I saw it like that, so now that's how I operate.
What I was
now.
doing when that happened.
So at that moment, like Ramon, we in the church, we at the front of the row. Ramon down in his phone as the preacher preaching. He down in his phone, I think on social media or something. And I looked.
And you
I
can
don't know
see
what
He
it.
was
it
on social media, and I looked down at something like that, and I just like kind of pushed his hand down, like, oh, I said, you can't be on social media and church everywhere. He was like, oh. And immediately he took his phone and dropped it in my purse.
Mhm.
Like immediately
Like,
he
help
recognized
me.
that was
Like,
right.
help
Like
me.
that was right. Like you right. He was like, oh
You
my
get
God, you
distracted.
right. You know, he was like, you right. So he dropped it in my purse, and of course I had that revelation. So now as I operate, when I see him doing things that's not right, you know, I have conversations with him in a manner of teachable moments. Like
A
I
subtle
don't
guide.
use it, you know what I'm saying? I don't use it as a way to bash him or make him feel less than a man about certain things. I always use every moment from any situation that, you know, that have me in tears at some, you know what I'm saying? I always use it as a teachable moment. And we just had a podcast on forgiveness, so I'm learning, you know, as we talked about forgiveness, how to forgive and do as we speak on in the podcast. So that was really, really good.
Ooh, they say all
Nah.
work works.
That's a blessing.
All work works.
Yeah, and y'all relationship is inspiring as well because me seeing y'all relationship from the outside, the like how close and tight y'all are, that fast is, you know, like impressive. Like y'all relationship is more or less like y'all been together for 20 years or so.
Right.
It doesn't
A lot of
seem
people tell us
as
that.
like a new
Yeah.
relationship. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's a blessing and it's also inspiring. So if I see y'all traveling and doing things, it's like that's possible for us as well. So, you know, like we don't really realize sometimes how much of a blessing we could be to each other, but also in some ways it could be disrespectful to God not to, because God be like, bruh, look at how I set you up. Like,
Right.
you're the leader. Like Ramon always say,
Right.
I'm the head, not the tail, right?
Right.
So God, like, how do you look at your environment and see yourself in all of these leadership roles? And then sometimes we be questioning our own leadership. So God like, bro, I got you this. And you like, I don't know. He like,
Right.
what are you doing? So tomorrow not promised. So whatever we can do to inspire one another is needed. So that's why we love to come on this podcast. I love to collaborate with y'all. I love
we
to
appreciate you guys.
see whatever we can do in
Yes.
business together, because like, you know, Ramon mentioned this to me, a lot of times in our community, we all try to be individuals and want to one up another. And I'm not judging people that do it. I'm not
Right.
saying that they're wrong. Sometimes we're influenced by the culture and the environment that we've come up in. But if we could break that cycle and show how communities, families, like, you know, like we live here in New Orleans, right? But if you go to Houston, Atlanta, some of these other cities, couples, brothers, sisters, they getting together and they
Yes.
bossing up.
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh
this
yes.
is-
Oh yes.
Collaboration is
That's
the new
right.
collateral.
Oh, yes.
So the
Oh,
partnerships
yes.
that we can make, it'll certainly benefit us. And that's why the partnership in a marriage benefits both of the people in the marriage. When the two become one, it's like we have two people working for the same power.
Yeah.
So we strengthen each other. And if we all get together, like with whatever our ideas are, like this world is wide and big. You go to New York, there's a place in New York called the Diamond District. I think it's on 42nd Avenue. And on the Diamond District, I mean, it's like rows and shops of merchants that sell diamonds and
Right,
jewelry,
right,
all
that's
kinds.
right.
There's also a rug district. You could go and you could get any kind of rug you want, Oriental
Fashion
rugs,
district.
Persian rugs.
Sure, that's
There's the
right.
fashion. This world is so wide, but what they've done to us as a African American in the United States, they disenfranchised our minds. They like made us think that it's okay to be separate. But really, togetherness, this collaboration that we could all do, the partnerships that we could build, that's the real wealth. I mean, you look downtown, any downtown area, you see these big, huge skyscrapers, the buildings. It's not owned by one person. It's owned by a conglomerate.
That's right.
There's many people that get together that create those buildings and everything. It's called entities. So we need to all learn how to get together, build these entities. I'm talking past marriage. So there's the entity of marriage where you have the two people becoming one. their head and their mind gets together with other married couples per se. They build business, and then
Give a tune in to the podcast. We work like magic. I call that transformation. Transformation.
Royal Culture's amazing unisex t-shirt and hoodie sets with knit shorts and hands-crafted designer bags that are designed to enhance kings and queens culturally. Perfect for every occasion and available in all sizes. Check out our Instagram at RoyalCulture75 and visit RoyalCulture75.com and buy yours today.
Amen.
Community development. That's
Yeah.
really like our real message behind everything that we do is really to influence the next generation.
Absolutely.
Because like I don't know if you ever feel like this, but it's like I'm 46 now, and then thinking what a like if I was 20, like man, I'm an old 46-year-old dude, then I'd be putting on my slippers. I'd be like, dang, bro, do I look like that? Like I got on slippers and I'm coming through. I think I'm cool,
Right.
but the kids like,
you crunchy old man,
look
right?
around, I'm like, man, this hurt, my chest hurt, my
They calling
foot
you
hurt.
Unc.
I'm like, so then you realize, bro, we really in that position now. Like, I think I'm younger. Like, really in truth. I don't know who you
I've
talking
been
to.
26
You
for
know
a
what
long
I'm saying?
time.
Yeah, but really, we're in the leadership role as far as needing to influence
That's
other
right,
people.
right,
so
right.
I was telling Cheryl on the way over here, I'm like, you know what? Like, you know, my physical body will be in more places where that I'm influencing more young people.
That's right.
So, and I was telling her that on the way because, you know, man, it's like this for me, right? God, like, you know, I could have probably made you a fly or ant. Like, you know what I'm saying? You like, man, God, I ain't got no, man, I should have had at least 100,000 in the bank by now. God, like, bro, you know, you just stepped on that bug. You could have been the bug.
Right.
I'm like, well, dang. You know, because how could I prove that, like, I was supposed, like, I can't question any of my beingness now because if I'm questioning how God set me up, God could be like, okay, like, bro, like 10,000 people got hit by a car today and died in a wreck. You could have been one. Like,
That's
you're
right.
saying it ain't this perfect, but I can show you what not perfect look like. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Nah, well, let's go. So it's kind of how we look at it like that.
Amazing. Amazing.
I've been there when Apostle Paul said, I've been abound in the base. I done had and been without. I didn't work for, I done made 10 grand a day. I didn't got paid 2 pennies an hour. You understand? I done made, 20 grand in one day, and I made 20 cents an hour. So I was up here and got bread down here, no matter what it is. I said, wait a minute, this, I need to get it right. If I can get up and punch a clock for somebody else, I can do even more for myself. It's like when you started getting those hours in a day. I don't know that we was told to go to school, get an education, get a good job. I got all them degrees sitting on the desk up in there, and it's your gift that make room for you.
Right.
We was all born with gifts
Yeah.
and special talents, and it's something that you always been doing that will take you. My gift was we was way in Africa. You understand?
Right.
I'm talking to Ghanaians. They was Ghanaians too. That was all in Ghana. I'm talking to them. I'm in the church. I'm in the school. I'm on the news. I'm like, man, and I'm just like in awe. Like go from the prison to the palace.
Yeah. So I mean, you know me. I pay attention to the time. We coming up on an hour of talking, so we kind of want to wrap it up. But I do want to give our guests the spotlight to see if it's anything anything else they didn't want to say to our people that's listening. But before I do that, I want to speak on this one last thing, being accountability partners.
Ooh, yes.
So you know, we conducted this podcast tonight. We talked a little bit about business. We talked about relationship. We talked about a lot of stuff. But I do think this is the new beginning of a marvelous friendship.
Yep.
Collaboration.
Collab, yes. And I think it's like I have visions and I can see stuff, and I mean I ain't gonna speak on it now, but I'm my soul is smiling on the inside.
Like, speak on it.
But that's something else that's really important to have accountability partners, and I think that might be something.
Count as it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna give you guys the flow.
All right, so I'll start and then you can wrap it up. I want to go back and talk about this black family because in my opinion our community needs a healing, and I think the healing comes with love. So the more that we're able to love on each other, collaborate, get together, build from family on up, the better off our world and our community will be.
It's awesome. And I want to say that, you know, the family structure is a part of the transformation that all of us need. And I appreciate and enjoy what you guys put together, making it about a transformation, because we always have to transform. We're daily transforming into being the best version of ourselves. And if we do that, then God will bless us. And one last thing that I want to add is that, like, we have a big challenge. So I'll give you a quick example. Like, me and Cheryl, we're reprogramming the DNA of our next generation. So check this out. My dad is an imam, so he's a speaker. So he's 83 years old. But he used to speak every week at the mosque or at church. So I'm somewhat of a speaker. I haven't been doing it as much, but I took upon that skill as being an orator or speaking to other people. When I was 21 or 22 years old, I used to go with my dad to Hunt's prison and speak to the prisoners. I also used to go to the Jefferson Parish Correctional Center with my dad because he was like, you need to come with me. I'm like, all right. So my dad is 83 years old. Well, next month, me, my dad, and my son, Lareezy, going to Hunt's. So my son is 7, he'll be 18 by the time they have a banquet, and he's going. So my dad was in a community doing
Y'all
work.
for Ramadan?
Nah, it's not Ramadan. They have a banquet. I'm not sure exactly what the banquet is, but we going up there.
Yeah, I used to, you know, I was up there
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And so every year the Muslims,
Mm-hmm.
the Muslims, they would,
They do that.
they have during the Ramadan, I believe it's in September, October, something like that. Well, they will fast and they eat bread at night, and you know, this is awesome. You know.
Yeah.
And they could cook, because I've had some of that Ramadan cooking.
So real quick, in the case of my dad, if my dad was the grandfather or the dad who was like, boy, I told you, stupid boy, get your stupid tail over here, boy, I told you, like, if he was like that, not judging, but if he had, like, not worked as hard as he did to see a better life for himself, then we wouldn't be able to see. Then what would I tell my son? I only would tell him what I've experienced. So I'd be like, man, times are hard, son. I don't know if you can make it. My dad told me I can make it, so it gave me a little more belief. I give my son more belief. Now is a generation of people who are influencing people coming from that same lineage.
Healthy.
But if we don't, if we just be regular and average, well, what do you think will happen? You don't think these podcasts, your grandkids and great-great-grandkids gonna be able to pull us up 100 years from now? I could pull up Earl Nightingale, Dr. Miles Monroe, who passed. I could pull up Jim Rohn. I could pull people up. They gonna pull you up. And they gonna say, where were you, grandfather? Did you give us some instructions? What you got? If I could go and watch a video of my grandfather giving me some instructions of what it is to come, I'd watch it.
That's right.
But it didn't exist. We are aware that it exists. You don't think we're responsible for saying, hey bro, you gotta go this way, this might happen. Not just for our own selves, but to be so great that our kids and our grandkids be like, if Michael Jordan was your grandfather, you don't think you'd think, I could probably dunk. I don't know.
Right.
I bet I could probably dunk. I'm 5'5". Michael Jordan, my grandfather, and he got a little brother who was, I could probably dunk. You just believe that you could probably do it because of what your grandfather did.
Right.
So then now, if you start to do more, be more, work harder, bring the family
Right.
together. The kids, they start
That's
believing.
right. My grandmother
My
did
own
this.
son would even
Yeah.
be like, if I'm fussing with Cheryl, he'd be like, you tripping. Like he'd just say, as the leader, you tripping.
You is so right about
So,
that.
and I'd be like,
You is
And
so
he
right.
really?
together.
I'd be like,
You so right though.
And he get him.
man, but
so
Cheryl, bro,
right.
he'd be like, you tripping.
Mhm.
You know, he's like the false prophet thing. He'd be like, then don't tell me nothing then.
That's right.
So what would I
Oh
do?
my God,
I was like,
that's amazing.
well, guess what? My leadership influenced him to be like,
That's right.
"You tripping." And now he could call me on it at 17 because it's principle based.
That's
It's not
right.
just,
That's
man, I'm the head honcho around here. If I'm teaching principle, then he say, oh, that's not in your principle.
That's
you,
And you violate.
So
you a
yeah.
false prophet. No, I'm like, well, I
That's
gotta submit.
That's
Yep.
right. That's
So,
good.
but my
Good.
dad would do, when I got divorced the first time, my dad was like, you're gonna spend the rest of your life keep trying to, like, spinning your wheel. You know, every time you break up, you know, each time I'd be like, man, it's over. He'd be
Yeah.
like, well, you know how much it costs to start over? He'd be like, you gotta get new, this. He said, you spinning your wheels. Like, you just spinning your wheels. So, leadership, if you see, I saw my dad as a leader, so then it's like, okay, well, like, I'm obligated. I saw it. So then so then now if my son, he obligated, because he know, like, bro, you know better, so he know right from wrong. So his message and objective of life is, you know, he say like helping kids get out of the matrix. Like, you see what I'm saying? So we're building generational foundations of leaders. But that's the intent, so that we could come back, bro, we obligated. Because you cut on the news and you cut on the social media, and our kids, they killing up each other. But if it's like, well, man, well, you know, there's a chance that they could pull up on my son. So then, therefore, it matters. So now, my voice is so loud that I'm
Join the royal culture, it don't cost a thing. We rather give prayers to the Lord than give praise to some bling. We help relationships and fix your dating status. Come give a tune in to the podcast. We work like magic. I call that transformation. Transformation. Come watch this transformation. It's amazing. Call that transformation. Transformation. Tune into transformation.